very insane conspiracy theory that turned out to be true. I'm not gonna lie, it can't be that insane if it turned out to be true. No bullshit. I got a couple conspiracy theories. One of them start with Elon. Elon is the devil. All right, no, my fault. Joke. It was a joke, man. Real shit. Like I know I joke around and shit. It was a joke. Dead ass. Please, I want to live.
In 1975, William Colby,
heart attack
CIA
pistol
director at the time, had to testify in front of a committee that was investigating the CIA. This happened because there were many accusations of assassinations of foreign and American
Elon, for real, bro. That was dead ass a joke. Real
so
shit.
The US Senate put
I love you.
Investigation for alleged
I love you like a brother from another mother.
14 reports of major abuses by the CIA, FBI, and NSA. However, there was an accusation or conspiracy theory that was much more worrying than the rest of them.
The heart attack pistol. What the fuck does this mean?
That could fire a poison dart from around 300 feet, cause death, and leave no trace of what the cause was. When William Colby declared that they had a poison dart gun that was potentially basically completely silent, felt like a mosquito bite to the target, went through clothes, caused a heart attack, and left no traces but a small red spot because the dart melted.
No way, bro. No way, Jose. Shit can't be real. If this is real, I'm Mexican.
Designed to increase U.S. biological and chemical warfare capabilities. This was the only time this gun was shot.
Yo, how did niggas get a dart in the gun?
Cuban terrorist attack. In 1962, during the Cold War, tensions between the US and Cuba were high because Fidel Castro had risen to power in Cuba and allowed communists to join the new Cuban government, nationalized US businesses, and improved relations with the Soviet Union. Furthermore, the Cuban
Yo, what the fuck? It's a net in this bitch. Yo, where is Cuba on the map? Oh, wait, let me look at this. Mexico City, Los Angeles, Cuba. What the fuck? Oh, it's right off the border of Mexico, right to the right. Cuba, okay, Cuba. What is Cuba known for? Yo, I remember back in the day, niggas was scared to go to Cuba. Why? Wasn't Cuba like a almost like a military type of island? And niggas used to go there, but they only went there if you was in jail or some shit. Like niggas used to take niggas to jail in Cuba, right? Am I bugging? Yo, I know I'm not bugging. Like Cuba, it was OD. Like you did not want to go to Cuba back in like 2014. I know I'm not tripping. Like 2012. Cuba, you did not want to go there. Ain't that when Tupac went after he died? I mean when he was
missile crisis happened when the Soviet Union placed nuclear missiles capable of hitting the U.S. on Cuban soil after the U.S. placed theirs on Italy and Turkey. Operation Northwoods was a plan by the United States Department of Defense.
Yo, I'm not gonna lie. If you work in the military, army, navy, you really gotta know your geographical boundaries. No bull. You gotta know where everything at on the map. That's why I know all 7 continents. English. America, South America, Antarctica, Australia, Africa, Asia. Wait, it's 7. Hold on. All right, hold on. Give me a second. Oh, I forgot Europe. North America, South America, Antarctica, Asia, Africa, Australia. It's too fucking tough, bro. Stop playing me, bro.
Terrorist attacks against American citizens and blame the Cuban government in order to justify a war against Cuba. They wanted to hijack civilian...
And I can name all 50 states!
...as if U.S. Air Force planes were shot down by Cuba to simulate the downing of a U.S.
I said that like it's hard. I've been living in America for 22 years. I should be able to name 50 states.
The plan also included creating a Cuban communist terror campaign in the Miami area.
The communists, bro. That's the niggas that want the money. That's the niggas who come knock at your door and they only walk on Saturdays.
Oh, wait, no, that's the Jews. But was the Soviet Union.
Oh, it's
CIA's fake
that sauce, bro. I can smell it.
In the 1970s, the CIA developed what they called the Insectothopter, which was a drone the size of a dragonfly and hand-painted to look like one. It was kept secret until December 2003, when it was revealed to the public at the CIA Museum, and the project was abandoned because it was too difficult to fly in crosswinds. Another similar project was the AeroVironment Nano Hummingbird, created with specifications given by the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency. These weren't the only times...
CIA, fake animal? Yes. No, this is true. I remember this. Yo, y'all ever saw a pigeon on the power line? The motherfuckers is not real pigeons. They charging. Yo, no bullshit. Think about it. When have you ever seen a pigeon? When have you ever seen a pigeon that was in the sky, bro? Think about it. I'm on to these niggas on some real shit. Every time you see, all my niggas up north, y'all niggas know, bro. Every time you see a pigeon, you see them niggas on the street. I seen a pigeon on the bus. I seen a pigeon hop on the bus and get off at the next stop. No bullshit. I never seen them niggas fly. But every time I do see them in the sky, they on the power line. Why? Because they recharging. They recharging. Them niggas is fucking robots.
To spy on their enemies. During the Cold War,
I knew this, bro. This is not a conspiracy, bro. This was a real, this is real developed evidence type of theory.
Window ledges. However, despite successfully placing some of these devices, no usable audio was captured from them. They even used fake fish to secretly check water samples for the presence of nuclear runoff or other suspicious substances. USA's fake Vietnam attack. In 1964, tensions between the United States and North Vietnam were at an all-time high, and things worsened on the 2nd of August when North Vietnamese forces
happened to
shot
peace?
a U.S. destroyer.
Peace and equality.
Covert operation close to North Vietnamese.
Fuck it. We line up our baddest bitches. Y'all line up y'all baddest hoes. Let's give it. And they got to give it all up.
But later expressed doubts, attributing the radar signals to freak weather effects. And despite these uncertainties, the Lyndon Johnson administration relied on misinterpreting.
Lyndon Johnson, president number 36. Yo, Lindell. Yo, I'm not gonna lie. Back in the day, these niggas had some crazy names. Lyndon is OD. Lyndon? Like, you couldn't, like, your name couldn't have been London. Lyndon is OD. Look it up, chat. 39th president of the world, bro. I'm not gonna lie. That Vietnam War was a total shit show, bro. Unnecessary. It just took a lot of time. Like, no bullshit. You gotta think about it. Niggas was fighting the war when we could have been made this cyber Tesla truck shit, bro. Real shit. But niggas want to go fight and waste billions and trillions of dollars on war, bro. Like, shit is like, I'm telling you, shit is unethical, bro. That's why we trillions of dollars in debt, because niggas want to go to war 2 times. Fuck.
Communications intercepts to conclude that the attack was real.
Shit is crazy.
In October 2005, the New York Times reported that Robert J. Hanyuk, an historian for the NSA, concluded that the NSA distorted intelligence reports passed to policymakers. He said agency staff deliberately skewed the evidence to make it appear that an attack had occurred. This was probably done with the goal of providing the Johnson administration.
Yo, if this is true, you know how crazy? Oh wait, it is true. These niggas is crazy, and we part of it. All of us. This is us. This is the U.S. government. This is us. Nah, fuck that. I ain't with them niggas. These niggas did a fake attack on themselves, said it was Vietnam just so they could go to war with them. Like, y'all niggas is crazy.
Justification needed for military
y'all niggas need to explain yourself, bro.
Robert McNamara, the Secretary of Defense during the time, admitted himself that the August 4th attack had never occurred. The Johnson administration was probably just seeking a reason to escalate American involvement in Vietnam as Cold War tensions increased, and the domino theory made its way through the U.S. military, which said that the fall of one country to communism would lead to the fall of others in the region, causing more fear. Because of this false operation, Congress passed the Gulf of Tonkin Resolution, granting President Johnson broad powers to conduct military operations in Vietnam.
Oh my gosh.
Canada's gay radar. At that time, homosexual people were formal declaration of war. Canada's gay radar.
Canada's gay radar? Hold on, bro. I'm a firm watcher in the office. You talking about the gaydar? Gaydar, yo, you tell me gaydar was true?
At that time, homosexual people were persecuted by the Canadian government, and they were trying to find new ways to get rid of them from public jobs, especially the police and military. In the 1960s, Dr. Frank Robert Wake,
niggas would kill you if you was gay?
Developed what's called the gaydar or fruit machine, which was a series of psychological tests with the purpose of identifying.
Yo, this shit not funny.
By using erotic images and what were thought to be homosexual words to see if there were any physiological changes that could point to a sexual arousal, such as the dilation of their pupils. Of course, this machine was completely pseudoscientific and unreliable. The room's light could change the dilation of the pupil, and many more outside variables made it faulty. Nonetheless,
niggas was killing niggas because they thought they was gay.
The U.S. government poisoned alcohol.
This shit is crazy, bro. Niggas used to really move crazy back in the day, bro.
Flourish, enabling criminal organizations like the mafia to enrich themselves. So the United States government had to find a way to stop this. They went to extreme lengths to try to reduce the black market's activity and to make people stop drinking. But their efforts had poor results. So the government became frustrated and started adding large amounts of methyl alcohol.
Oh, hell no, bro. It's our own government too, bro. The niggas was poisoning the alcohol so niggas wouldn't drink it. Yo, I ain't gonna. We gonna bring this back? Nah, we can't bring this back now. Nah, I just got over the age to drink, nigga. Fuck that. Shots on me. Hey, whoever the drunk is getting.
Being. This was probably done thinking that the black market sellers would have avoided selling poisoned alcohol to their customers, as they would have lost them when they died. But they didn't take into account that the demand for illegal alcohol was so booming at the time that the sellers didn't really care about their customers' lives. The effects quickly showed. In 1926, in New York City, 585 people died from this government action, and over 5,000 fatalities from this poisoning, at least a 600% increase from the previous deaths from alcohol, were said to have resulted in the entire country. CIA's fake vaccines. During the hunt for Osama bin Laden, the CIA conducted a secret operation using a fake hepatitis vaccination program in Pakistan to illegally collect blood samples and confirm the presence of bin Laden or his family. The CIA planned to compare the DNA samples collected from the program with the DNA of bin Laden's sister, who had died in Boston in 2010. The program ultimately failed. It led to the arrest of a participating doctor, Shakil Afridi, and was widely criticized for undermining public health. The operation is blamed for increasing vaccine hesitancy in Pakistan and triggering violence against healthcare workers, who were perceived as spies. As a result, Pakistan saw a resurgence of polio, becoming the country with the highest number of polio cases in the world by 2014. The CIA director issued a directive in 2013 prohibiting the agency from using vaccination programs for operational purposes, including recruiting healthcare workers. It's in situations like these that we see the impact information has on our perception and beliefs. The health of the Pakistani population was undermined by disinformation that caused disbelief in the healthcare system. It's crucial to get an objective view on
fucked
matters.
up, bro.
For example,
it's
news
fucked up.
outlets
That's what it
might frame
is, bro.
stories
You tell me I get some of my rights, but it's at the cost of my life. Like fake vaccines, yo. If a nigga tell me I gotta take a vaccine or I can't do certain shit. Like, nigga, what choice do I got, bro? Dead ass, but you telling me it's a fake vaccine? This really like a blood sample type shit? Like, nigga, yo, it's I'm telling you, it's shit like this going on in today's world, bro. That's why we all need to come together, all of us as a nation, no bullshit. Not even just the U.S., all of us in the world, bro. We need to all come together, and we gotta realize how short life is. Like, pop the pussy for a nigga. Like,
different lens based on their political leanings and interests.
Shit go wrong, things get
sponsor,
said,
Ground
and I
News,
apologize.
addresses this
I apologize.
issue by enabling us to
I'm just saying though, bro, like life is short, bro. We can't trust anybody outside of ourselves.
For example, it has been reported that Mexico warned they would impose their own tariffs in retaliation if Trump were to impose a 25% tariff on Mexican goods. 348 sources reported on this, primarily from the center, with less coverage from right and left-leaning outlets. This creates what Ground News calls a potential blind spot in critical analysis for people who typically consume right and left-leaning sources. The differences in coverage between political leanings are clear. For example, a right-leaning source calls Trump's tariff proposition a threat, while a left-leaning source describes the situation in a more intense way. Ground News doesn't tell you what to think. They gather the world's news to help you come to your own independent conclusions. One of my favorite features is their blind spot feed.
Now, come on, bro.
Operation happened between the attack in a project called Operation Mobility. Operation Sea Spray. In 1950, the Navy wanted to test.
Yo, there was a lot of fucked up shit going on back in the day, bro. Y'all had a lot of crazy shit going on.
Operation Sea Spray. To do so, they released two types of bacteria, Serratia marcescens and Bacillus globigii, into San Francisco Bay. The operation happened between September 20th and 27th, and the bacteria
niggas making tortillas
ship off the coast of San Francisco. It's said that they did this because they thought they would have been harmless to humans, but on October 11th, 11 residents checked into Stanford Hospital in San Francisco with very rare serious urinary tract infections. 10 of them recovered, but one man, who had had recent prostate surgery, died 3 weeks later from a heart valve infection. His relatives later tried to sue the government, but they lost because the bacteria used in the test was unproven to be responsible for his death. The urinary tract outbreak was so unusual that the Stanford doctors wrote it up for a medical journal. None of the other hospitals in the city reported similar spikes in cases, and all 11 victims had urinary tract infections following medical procedures, suggesting that the source of their infections was inside the hospital.
Yo, this what we doing? This what we doing? Yo, this world is fucked up. This shit is crazy.
Cases of pneumonia in San Francisco also increased after Serratia marcescens was released, even though a causal relationship has not been established. Overall, the Army determined that San Francisco had received enough of a dose for nearly all of the city's 800,000 residents to inhale at least 5,000 of the particles, which is within the range of infectivity for anthrax. Project Project Sunshine was a series of research studies done by the U.S. government that began in 1953 to see the impact of radioactive fallout
these
on the world's
1950s,
population, which
y'all
remained secret
niggas
until
is
3
so
years
tough
later,
if y'all
in
alive, bro.
1956. They
Y'all
wanted
had
to
to go
see the
through
body's reaction to
some
radioactive
crazy
isotope
shit.
strontium-90,
Back when the water,
which
back when y'all
represented
we couldn't even drink the same water fountain. Niggas was out here fucking serving anthrax and different types of the diseasiness pneumonia. This shit is fucking ridiculous. Dead ass.
serious threat to human health from nuclear fallout.
Project
especially
Sunshine?
on kids, since their
You
young
niggas-
developing bone tissues have the
Oh my god, these niggas making tests on kids. These niggas is worse than Diddy. No bullshit. These niggas make Diddy like a fucking angel. This shit is crazy, bro. And niggas probably never got caught. They probably never got called out for this, never got caught for this, all of this
highest
shit.
propensity to accumulate strontium-90, and thus they have the highest susceptibility to radiation damage. Of course, this type of experiment wasn't that feasible, since doing it on alive humans would be an ethical monstrosity, and there weren't many familiars that would like to donate their deceased loved ones to be experimented on like this. Somehow, though, 1,500 sample cadavers, mostly babies and young children, appeared out of nowhere. That's because they were taken from countries ranging from Australia to Europe, often
What?
without their parents' consent or knowledge.
Huh?
A British mother had even said that her stillborn baby's legs were removed by British doctors, and to prevent her from finding out what had happened, she was not allowed to dress the baby for the funeral. The Dalai Lama worked for the
Yo, what the
CIA.
fuck?
During the Cold War, it seemed like China and its Communist Party wanted to increase their influence on Tibet, which worried the United States. Consequently, the CIA created what was called the CIA Tibetan Program, where they trained and strengthened various isolated
Yo, I ain't arching that shit like that. Little ass stick booty.
Tibetan resistance groups, which eventually led to the creation of a paramilitary force of 2,000 men. They also sent military supplies in stealthy ways to not attract China's attention, and they spread pro-Tibetan propaganda by showing the human rights abuses in Tibet under Chinese rule. The plan reached $1.7 million of annual funding, and the funny thing is that the Dalai Lama himself received an annual salary of $180,000 from the late 1950s to the mid-1970s, even though he stated that he used most of the funds received from the CIA to
Classic
finance the
scam mag.
activities
I know
of the
niggas that
Tibetan
do
government
worse.
in exile.
Fuck this nigga.
His brother, Gyalo Thondup, was also considered a CIA's top asset. The program ended after President Nixon visited China to establish closer relations in 1972, but the Dalai Lama and his brother thought that this demonstrated that the US didn't care about genuinely helping the Tibetan people, but that they were following their own interests in the Cold War. The US president's wife became the real president. Edith Wilson was the wife of President Woodrow Wilson when, in October 1919, he suffered a stroke that heavily incapacitated him. They hid the true extent of the president's illness and disability from the American public, and although she was never officially elected president of the United States, she played a significant role in managing the country after her husband's condition. And some
1919, yeah, of course, bro. The woman take over as president in 1919, and 10 years later we in the Great Depression. This shit never failed. Wait, no, I love women. Yo, come on, y'all. Y'all know I'm the #1 feminist in this bitch. If I was president, tampons would be free. Come on. I mean, shit. How much more I gotta prove?
Even call her the
I just
president
did the
or
Name 100
first
Women challenge in like
president.
9
She took
minutes,
control
bro.
of
Stop
many
playing,
of the
bro.
day-to-day functions of the executive
Come
branch,
on, y'all know.
deciding
Come on,
which
bro.
communications, issues,
don't play that
and
card
matters
on
of
me,
state
bro.
were important enough to bring to the bedridden
Y'all
president's
niggas
attention.
know
For
I'm
this
a
reason,
feminist.
she required that all members of the cabinet send urgent matters, memoranda, correspondence, questions, and requests to her. In this way, she became the sole link of communication between the president and his cabinet. Even though she claimed that she didn't take any decisions herself, her role as a potential gatekeeper of info gave her lots of power and influence, and some suggest that she even successfully pushed for the removal of Secretary of State Robert Lansing. CIA's cat spies. In the 1960s, Operation Acoustic Kitty was launched, which aimed to use cats as spies.
What?
This project's estimated cost, according to former CIA officer Victor Marchetti, was around $20 million, and the procedure consisted of implanting a microphone in the cat's ear canal, a small radio transmitter at the base of its skull, and a thin wire in its fur. The first mission of a cat spy was to eavesdrop on 2 men in a park near the Soviet embassy in Washington, D.C. The cat was released nearby, but was almost immediately hit by a taxi. However, Robert Wallace, the former director of the CIA, immediately hit Soviet embassy in Washington, D.C.
No
the cat was
fucking
released
way.
nearby, but was almost immediately hit by a taxi. However,
Yo, no, R.I.P. to the cat, but damn. You telling me they let this nigga out for 5 seconds and he got hit by a taxi in New York?
Robert Wallace, a former director of the CIA's Office of Technical Service, disputed this version in 2013. He said the project was abandoned due to the difficulty in training the cat. This failure, accompanied by other failed tests, caused the project to get shut down in 1967.
Thank
USA's
God.
gay bomb. The idea of a gay bomb, a non-lethal chemical weapon designed to make enemy soldiers attracted to each other,
What?
was considered by the U.S. Air Force. This hypothetical weapon, mentioned in a 1994 Department of Defense document, aimed to disperse sexual pheromones among enemy forces to generate mutual attraction, leading to mass confusion and panic. Along with the gay bomb, other ideas were discussed, such as remotely engineering body odors using compounds found in bad breath and excessive sweating, with the goal of making the enemy so smelly that they could be easily detected by their opponents. However, there is no evidence that these weapons were used or that it's possible to create such a thing. If you want to discuss this video or suggest an idea for the next one, join my Discord. Link in the description.
No way, niggas try to make a bomb that turned niggas gay. Yo, I cannot believe that, bro. Like, what? Thumbnail.